All right, so you know how you can be stuck waiting for a train and you see this massive freight train rumble past you and it feels like it takes forever.
Oh, yeah.
It really makes you wonder who's the one making sure all that runs smoothly.
Right.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive on the people who keep those trains moving, rail traffic controllers.
Good timing, too, because you've been wanting to learn more about this career path.
Definitely. And lucky for us, we've got a ton of info from RoleCatcher to help us out.
And trust me, you need a guide because this job is way more intense than it seems.
That's what I love about these deep dives. We get to uncover all those hidden complexities. So let's see what we've got. We're looking at RoleCatcher's career guide today and getting a glimpse at their really cool AI-powered interview prep tools, too. But first things first, what do rail traffic controllers actually do?
RoleCatcher says it best. Safe and timely movement of trains.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
It does right.
Yeah.
But that is not even half the story. Imagine, you have a passenger train that's running behind schedule. There's a freight train hauling hazardous materials coming up on a switch. And then suddenly, a signal malfunctions. Total chaos.
Oh, wow. Okay, that would be stressful.
Tell me about it. A rail traffic controller can't even hesitate in those situations. They have to make split-second decisions to reroute everything, minimize delays, and most importantly, avoid any accidents.
So it's like they're playing high-stakes chess with actual trains and people's lives.
Exactly.
And that's just the emergencies, right? What about a normal day?
Well, even a typical day means they're coordinating schedules, talking to engineers, and keeping track of tons of trains in their section of the track.
Talk about a mental workout. RoleCatcher even calls the work environment high stress and demanding. They specifically mention handling emergencies with nerves of steel.
Because it's true. This job is not for the faint of heart. You need to be laser-focused, stay calm under pressure, and communicate better than an air traffic controller.
Speaking of communication, RoleCatcher really emphasizes that, saying controllers are in constant contact with train drivers, other personnel, even the public sometimes during emergencies.
It's true.
That's a ton of responsibility riding on every word they say.
It really is. And it shows you how essential the human element still is in this job. Technology is great, but in the end, it's the controller's judgment, quick thinking, and communication that keeps things running smoothly.
Or as smoothly as possible when you're dealing with a system as complex as a railway.
For sure.
And forget about that typical 9-to-5 workday. RoleCatcher is upfront about the crazy hours, nights, weekends, holidays.
It's true. Trains don't stop for holidays.
Nope.
Or weekends, or because it's Tuesday afternoon.
Exactly. But here's the trade-off. RoleCatcher links those demanding hours and the stress to good job security and great salary potential.
It's true.
So it sounds like a good fit for someone who thrives on pressure, who doesn't mind a chaotic schedule, and maybe kind of enjoys being the unsung hero behind the scenes.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that combination of mental toughness, analytical skills, and that ability to be calm in a storm. That's what makes a good rail traffic controller.
Yeah.
And those aren't things you can just learn overnight. Those skills are tested every single day.
Which makes me think about the career path itself. Someone's listening to this, they're intrigued. What does it actually look like to move up in this field? Is it straightforward, or are there different ways to go?
Lucky for us, RoleCatcher gives us a really clear roadmap in their guide.
Oh, perfect.
They have these stages laid out that really paint the picture.
Okay, so where does someone even start in a career like this?
Like a lot of fields, it often starts with an internship or an entry-level position.
Okay.
That's where you get your feet wet, learn the ropes, and really start to understand how everything works.
Getting a feel for the rhythm of the rails? I like it.
Yes, exactly. And then as you get more experience and you show what you can do, you might move up to a junior rail traffic controller role.
Okay.
And from there, maybe to senior. And if you stick with it and you're really good at navigating those tough situations, you could even become a principal rail traffic controller.
Principal rail traffic controller. It even sounds impressive.
Right.
But seriously, what does someone at that level actually do?
RoleCatcher actually gives us a little peek into that. They describe them as strategists. They're developing long-term plans, working with other departments to make sure things run efficiently and safely. They might even represent the organization at conferences and meetings.
Wow. So they've gone from those intense real-time decisions to shaping the future of the whole operation.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
It shows how this career can really grow with you. If you're someone who wants to be constantly challenged, who always wants to be improving things, this could be the perfect field.
Yeah. It's not just about putting in your time, it's about becoming a leader.
Exactly.
And speaking of essential skills, we talked about mental toughness, we talked about communication, but what about the actual technical knowledge? What do you need to know to be a good rail traffic controller?
It might seem obvious, but knowing how the railway works is essential. But RoleCatcher makes it clear that it's not just about technical know-how.
Okay.
We're also talking critical thinking, making decisions under pressure, and those top-notch communication skills we keep coming back to.
So it's like this blend of technical expertise and those more human skills. That's fascinating.
Depth all connected.
But let's break it down a bit. What does critical thinking mean for a rail traffic controller? Like, what's a real-world example?
Okay, so imagine a track suddenly has to be closed. Could be anything: bad weather, mechanical problem, who knows. A good rail traffic controller doesn't just stop every train nearby.
Right.
They have to look at the big picture, think about how it'll affect other trains, put passenger safety first, and then make the best decision, even if they don't have all the information.
So they're solving this puzzle that's constantly changing. No room for second guessing.
Exactly. And that's where the communication comes in. They might need to tell a train driver how to handle a tricky situation, coordinate with emergency services if there's an incident, even talk to passengers if something's going wrong. They have to be the calm voice when things get crazy.
So they're not just thinking on their feet, they're explaining those thoughts clearly, often to a bunch of different people at the same time.
Absolutely.
That takes serious skill.
It does. And this is where it gets even more interesting, because the railway industry isn't standing still.
It's true.
RoleCatcher actually talks about this head on. They talk about automation.
Ah, yes, automation. It feels like it's changing every industry.
I know.
What about rail traffic controllers? Are robots going to take their jobs?
That's what I appreciate about RoleCatcher. They don't shy away from the tough questions. They acknowledge automation's impact, but they make it clear it won't replace human expertise.
Okay.
It's more about a shift in focus.
Interesting. So what does that shift look like?
As technology takes over some of those routine tasks, rail traffic controllers are going to be doing even more of that high-level problem-solving and complex decision-making we were just talking about.
Okay.
They're becoming more like air traffic controllers,
Interesting.
managing the system that's becoming more automated, but still needs a human eye and a human brain to handle those curveballs that technology can't always predict.
So it's not about being scared of robots, it's about learning to work with them.
Exactly. And that makes the human element even more important. The critical thinking, the flexibility, the communication, those are the things that will make a rail traffic controller stand out.
They're like the conductors of this high-tech orchestra, making sure everything runs smoothly. But you know what? Some people might be listening to this thinking, okay, high stakes, crazy hours, constant learning. Not for me. But trains are kind of cool. So let's talk about those other career paths. What if someone loves the idea of trains, but that whole life or death pressure thing isn't really their style?
That's where RoleCatcher's related careers section comes in. They get it. Liking an industry can mean a lot of things. They talk about this other role, train dispatcher. Instead of just one section of track, imagine overseeing train movements across a whole region.
So still a lot of responsibility making sure those schedules work out, but maybe a bit bigger picture.
Right. Train dispatchers are like the architects of the rail network, keeping everything on time, rerouting trains if there are delays. And if you're really into the technical side, RoleCatcher also talks about signaling engineers.
Ah, the people who make sure those signals actually work.
Exactly. They design and maintain those complex systems that keep everything moving safely.
The unsung heroes of a smooth train ride.
Right. And what I love is how RoleCatcher connects all these different jobs. They show how each one fits into the bigger picture of the railway.
They really do.
They even have stuff for aspiring train drivers, station managers, you name it.
It's like the ultimate resource for anyone interested in a rail career.
It really is. And don't forget about their AI-powered interview prep. Think about it. Practicing your answers to common interview questions for rail traffic controllers or any rail job and getting feedback from an AI.
It's like having a secret weapon to help you prepare.
Exactly. It can help you fine-tune your answers, how you present yourself, even your body language.
This RoleCatcher sounds like a game changer for anyone serious about a rail career.
It really is amazing how technology can give you that extra boost in a competitive job market.
Well said. This deep dive has been quite a ride, from those high-pressure rail traffic controller moments to all the other possibilities in the rail industry. But before we wrap up, think about this for a second. Imagine yourself in that seat, making sure those trains run on time and keeping people safe.
Yeah.
Does that challenge get you fired up? Maybe the world of rail is calling your name. And if you're feeling inspired, check out RoleCatcher. Their resources and AI tools could be just what you need to find your perfect fit in this exciting field.
And who knows, maybe we'll be doing a deep dive on your rail career someday. Until then, safe travels, everyone.